In all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. Carl Jung. So a few years ago, I went on this stargazing tour at this observatory in New Zealand, and I can say that I've never seen so many stars in my life. As I was looking up at the night sky, I couldn't help but wonder what our early ancestors would have thought when they looked up at the stars. They would have just seen a mysterious set of dots of light scattered across the darkness, but there would have come a point in history when they actually discovered that they were stars. And not only that, somebody noticed these patterns and they decided to call them constellations. And then they discovered a pattern in the movement of these constellations. And this in turn helped them anticipate the seasons, which ultimately assisted in agricultural development as it allowed farmers to plan when they wanted to plant and harvest. Also, they discovered that there seemed to be a star in the night sky, which didn't seem to move. And this star was directly above the North Pole, which they now call the North Star. And figuring this out allowed people to navigate the unknown lands and seas. So it's interesting to think that our ancestors were able to propel human evolution forward, all from noticing the patterns in the sky, from seeing the order in the apparent disorder. In all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. And when I got back home, I started to feel that post-holiday dread, and I'm sure many of you guys can relate. You return back to the routine, but despite going through the motions, there's still something within you that yearns for adventure. And as I was in the office, sat in front of the computer in front of my paperwork, I asked myself if there's anything that we in the modern day can use as tools for navigation through the unknown. Just like our ancestors had the stars to help them navigate, was there anything for us? For years, I searched far and wide for the answer. I looked through books, I read online, I listened to a ton of videos. And while all these sources were valid, the most powerful tool which I actually came across are these, which is just a simple pen and a journal. You may be thinking, Stephen, how can a simple pen and a journal be equivalent to our ancestors having the stars to navigate through the unknown? The reason for this is that writing is a tool for exploring the unknown. Now, growing up, one of my favorite games was Grand Theft Auto, and in the game you're able to free roam the map. And as you explore new areas, as you make the unknown known, then your map of the world actually expands. Now, I want you to think about your mind in the same way. When you write, when you journal, when you explore new ideas, you are expanding your internal map of the unknown. Now, this is something I wish I knew earlier, because I've had conversations at work with other colleagues talking about our dream lives. And after these conversations, I find that we never end up taking steps towards our dreams. And I ask myself, why is this? And I realize that the reason people do not action out their dreams is because they become overwhelmed with the confrontation with the unknown. They ask themselves, how will I do this? How do I do that? Where do I even begin? But what I learned is that you need to push through the chaos in order to gain clarity. You journal your way to clarity. Writing increases your capacity to navigate the unknown. Your capacity to navigate the world within expands your capacity to navigate the world without. As the Kybalion states, as within, so without. And there's also this saying from Oliver Holmes which goes, a mind expanded by a new idea can never return to its original dimension. So after a year of just talking about my dreams and not actioning it out, I actually became really angry at myself. And this was actually a pivotal point in my life, because this is when I decided to start writing. So I started my own blog. And when I started this blog, I didn't really know where I was heading. Something within me just told me that I needed to basically write my way to clarity. I learned that there is value in documenting as you experiment, creating as you consume, and drawing out a map of your own experiences. And having this blog, having this channel through which I can write, ultimately opened up doors in my mind which I otherwise wouldn't have been able to access without this medium of writing. Through this blog, I was basically just following my curiosities and seeing where it would lead me. So I started to learn how to invest. I got into e-commerce and I built a few online businesses which failed. And after that, I got into crypto, and also I ended up getting into real estate investing, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And so my point is, I did not know where I was going when I started writing, when I started this blog. But writing led me to doors that I wouldn't have not otherwise encountered if I didn't metaphorically follow where the pen and paper were leading me. So the lesson I learned was this: be open to expanding your mind through writing. When you open up to yourself, the world opens up to you. When the world opens up to you, have the courage to seize the opportunity. Now, my second lesson that I learned from writing is that it helps you connect the dots. As we covered earlier in this video, our ancestors were able to look up at the night sky and connect the dots, form patterns, and derive meaning from that, and allow them to navigate the unknown. For our ancestors, pattern recognition was a matter of survival. For the modern day dream chaser, pattern recognition is our way of forging new paths in our life. When I thought about this, I came across a problem because our ancestors, they already had a data set, they had the stars which they can derive meaning from. But for the modern day dream chaser like you and me, when we sail into the unknown towards our dreams, we may look around, we may look up at the sky and we do not see any dots or stars which we can derive patterns from to gain a sense of direction. The solution for that is that for us dream chasers, we actually have to create our own stars, our own data set from which we can derive meaning. This is the entrepreneurial life of trial and error. And there's this success philosophy which goes, fail fast, fail often. The faster you can fail, the faster you can succeed. And the reason for that is you are only able to make decisions from your current level of consciousness. The more attempts and failures you make, the more reference points or stars in the sky that you will have. The more stars you have, the more dots you can connect. The more you can connect, the more you expand your level of consciousness. The greater your level of consciousness, the closer you converge towards your goal. This is why most entrepreneurs that you look at have a big resume of failures before actually succeeding. As you reflect on past failures, you expand your level of consciousness towards your higher self. At the start of the year, I quit my job and I set my sights on getting 100,000 subscribers. But over the past 8 months, video after video, I found myself to be stagnant, and getting nowhere led me to a dark place, and I wanted some answers. Why does the universe seem to be against me when I've taken the leap towards my dreams? And in my despair, I just decided to pick up a pen and I started to journal. After 2 weeks and over 30 pages later, it became clear to me that the universe has been on my side all along, after all. But I just had not been taking the time to seek the answers through journaling and reflection. From my mistakes, I learned that reflecting on your journey and iterating is the path to success. Without reflection, you will be stuck in the same pattern which will lead you nowhere. As Einstein famously said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, but expecting different results. Life is always giving us new experiences and new lessons, especially when we push out into the unknown and try new things. The lessons are abundant to those who seek. Journaling is how you extract life's lessons and teachings from your experiences. There's an old saying which goes, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. But you are both the student and the teacher, only if you take your time to open your eyes and journal. This is easier said than done. This journey requires a lot of courage because each setback and each failure can be extremely discouraging when you're in the moment and you cannot see how the dots will connect. And this is why faith and spirituality and belief play a crucial role in endeavors involving you following your own heart and intuition. Because sometimes when you're in the midst of it all, there's no tangible indicator which you can go off which indicates to you if you're getting closer or further away from your goal. The only thing connecting you between you and your goal is this invisible thread of your own faith, your own belief. So until you have enough dots to derive meaning from, to use as a compass to drive you forward, you have to keep failing and failing and failing, and hopefully that these dots will connect and they will bring you clarity towards the future. Then this is exactly what Steve Jobs said in his commencement speech. He famously said, "You cannot connect the dots looking forwards. You can only connect them looking backwards." So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. If you enjoyed this video and you're excited about starting to use writing to help change your life, then I've made this free higher self worksheet for you guys which you can work on. The link down in the description below to download. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate if you click the like button. Really goes a long way in helping this channel grow. And as always, see you guys in the next video. Peace.